G'day everyone, it's Shane Watts from DirtWise Riding Schools and Instructional DVDs. There's a lot of information that you need to take on board when you're trying to improve your skills. There's so many different techniques that it can become overwhelming, and especially if you have to try and think of it, or you try to think of all those things whilst you're riding. And I know some guys, they just get flustered when they're trying to think of all the techniques they have to do, and they need to just go ahead and keep it simple. Bring it back down to the basics. Just focus on wheel placement, body position, whether it's standing or sitting, and if you're sitting, sit forward, and work on the throttle and clutch. Everything else will come together later on once you start picking up the speed. The main thing is you just got to be able to follow the trail and then start getting on the gas more aggressively, then start braking more aggressively. One of my mates, Jason Wygant, the voice of American Motocross and GNCC, he's been riding with us lately, and to be honest, it's quite painful, or was quite painful watching him ride. And I was trying to figure out what was going on with him, and I sit down and talk to him and say, "What's going on, Weege?" He's like, just trying to think of doing all these things, I'm just focusing on all the things I have to do. And he didn't leave any room in his brain to think about the actual trail of actually riding. He was too busy focusing on his technique. Now, his technique and his form is really, really good, and so it should be, because that's what he's thinking about. But his ability to apply it to the trail absolutely sucked, and he'll agree with that. So we made some changes. Said, all right, let's just forget about all that. Focus on the bare basics. And then he went out onto the trail, and all the theatrics that he had from all the disgust he had in himself from all the mistakes and the yelling and screaming and the disappointment he had in himself was gone, because he was able to ride the trail, enjoy riding a dirt bike, ride much better, and all those extra techniques that he's trying to really make sure that he enforced as he's riding along, all those things he was thinking about, they all just started happening naturally. So we'll see a bit of action of Jason in form right now, and we'll get a comment from him about the benefits of keeping it simple.
I've been in industry a long time, but I have not actually ridden much, so I've seen a lot of riding, I've talked about a lot of riding, I've had a lot of riding coaches say what their top guys do, and I was just trying to do that. You know, feet on the pegs, ride on the balls of your feet, stand up, turn the throttle like a doorknob and not with your whole hand, all these things, weighting the outside peg. And honestly, that's about 900 things you have to memorize as you're trying to ride your speed, and I was struggling bad. So Watsy basically just said, throw all that away, just keep it simple. Just worry about where your front wheel goes. Put the front wheel in the rut and ignore everything else. And once I started doing that, I was automatically going a little bit faster, but most importantly, I was making far fewer mistakes, because the trail and the rut, that's where you need to go. As long as you're going in that, you're going to cut a lot of mistakes out. And then I was riding much safer, and I was riding much more confident, and then eventually I did find myself going faster without even thinking about all these other advanced techniques that I thought you had to have in order to ride well. And then the craziest thing is, after about a month of just working on front wheel placement, by automatically going faster, I found all those things started to happen anyway. I just started randomly standing up. I started randomly weighting the outside peg, or randomly gripping the tank on my knees. But it started because I stopped doing all that